Well, hello, and welcome to the Coaching Business Spotlight Show. I'm your host, Kat Connect. And on this show, I bring you advice, tips, conversation, ways of thinking, questions intended to help you evolve your coaching business. And today I'm going to talk about a topic. I don't know if I have ever talked about this topic before. It just came to me as I was thinking about the series that I do on this podcast. I do a series every month, I have a theme. A lot of the conversations I have are about marketing, they're about money, they're about mindset. But I'm thinking today about sales. And what came to me was to begin with making the distinction for you between marketing and sales. Because when I first started, and I'm going to be honest with you, probably for a really long time after, I didn't get that distinction. And at times it would be confusing to me why one thing would be working and the other thing might not be working. So marketing might be working and sales might not be working, or sales might be working, but the marketing was a little flat. Once I got that distinction, though, I started to learn how to do the two in tandem. Marketing is when you are getting your coaching business services in front of other people. Marketing can be getting referrals. It can be putting posts out on social media. It can be talking to friends. It can be sending out an email about what you do. There are a lot of ways. It can be doing speaking, doing workshops. I love marketing. You probably know that already about me if you listen to the show very much because I find marketing is creative. It's a way of, I love to craft a message. I like to inspire people. So, marketing is a way in a coaching business is how you talk about how you serve people, the hope you give them, what you can do for them. And there are so many different ways to get your message in front of other people. That's one whole piece of work as a business owner for any business owner, marketing. So I often refer back to the fruit business, one of my favorite comparisons to make. In the first part of my adult life, I was involved in the fruit business. Marketing meant we went to farmers markets. Actually, a way of marketing is to be a part of a farmers market. We had a newsletter way back in the day when email was just getting started. Even before email, we had a newsletter that we handed out to people. There was actually a time we would go door to door. We literally went door to door in neighborhoods where we were selling fruit to tell people about that we were there. Sales happened when people were in front of the fruit at the farmers market, at the fruit stand, when we were talking to people, mostly one on one. There were a lot of other sales that could happen in that business. Sales happened at the factory. We sold our fruit to the factory, some of it, not a lot. So, sales is when somebody hands you money or you're talking about do they want to pay you money? That's a sales conversation. The actual sale is made when somebody pays you money. Ding, ding. What is it? Or ka-ching, ka-ching. You've made a sale. That's sales. You're talking to someone about your services with the intention of them making a choice. Do they want your services or not? Are they going to pay you money or are they going to pass? That's a sales conversation. You want the two things to go together. So in the fruit business, we're telling people about this great fruit we have, how it's so fresh and it's all the ways we do our orchard and all the things that makes our fruit the very best. Sales is that somebody's right in front of me. And a big sales pitch that I did when I helped with that business was give people samples. I would give people a sample and I'd ask them, do you want to try? And they usually did. And they'd take a sample. And if they liked it, they would be more inclined to buy it. So I'm actually, at this point, I'm thinking we're going to make three distinctions. So there's the marketing, there's the sales conversation, and then there's the actual sale. Sales conversations for most coaches happen with a sample, just like fruit. You give them a sample session, you give them a taste. It can be a one on one sample session. It can be like I do. I do a lot of free workshops, I do webinars. There are ways I get in front of other people and give you a sample of right now on this podcast. I'm giving you a sample of how I am. You get a sense of my personality, what I care about. This is not a sales conversation, though. This is actually intended to be helpful for the coaches that I know, and it's a way of marketing my services. So many of the listeners are already people who are in my community, and then I continually get new people listening to this podcast. Their intention is so that they can learn more about the coaching business. My intention is to teach more about the coaching business. And there's this intersection, as I talk a lot about in marketing, between giving value and people getting interested in your services. And people who get interested in your services and my services usually set up for me, it's a consultation. I've done sample sessions in the past, but with my current iteration of business, because of the business model that I have, it's not pure coaching. There's a lot of training in it. It's a business training program. So that to me is much better suited for a consultation because people want information. They want to get a sense of me. They want to find out what I care about. And they actually really want to know, does what I have to offer match what they have to get, like what they're wanting to receive? Is there a match there? That's part of the sales conversation. As a coach in integrity, I say when we are in a sales conversation, we are promoting what we have to offer, but it is with the integrity of a coach that we only want people who it's actually going to help. Is it going to be a fit? Is the personality a fit? Is the kind of training that I'm bringing, does the person that I'm talking to, does this resonate with them? Will it actually help them? Is it the way that they think? Are they a person who wants to go through a step by step course as well as get inspired about what's fulfilling and what's in their heart and soul and have soul driven success? That's what I'm always looking for. Do you want the information? And do you also care about, is this really resonating with me? Is it fulfilling me? Is my work now going to be something that makes me happy? I care about that. I really do care about that. So that's a sales conversation. Okay. You're getting me here marketing, sales conversation, and then there's an actual sale. This is where somebody has said yes. They've had said yes in a sales conversation. And I'm going to put a couple of other stories in here to connect some dots. I haven't thought about this in so long, but many, many years ago, when I first moved to Los Angeles, Mark Victor Hansen, who was one of the authors of Chicken Soup for the Soul, and he had a partner. I'm kind of blanking on his full name. His first name was Robert. They had a company and they wrote a book called The 1 Minute Millionaire. And when I first moved to Los Angeles, I joined a church called Agape. It was a New Thought church. I really loved this church. It had a lot of philosophy in it that aligned with what I care about, a lot of coaching, I thought, philosophy. And one Sunday, really early on, it might have even been my very first Sunday at that church, Mark Victor Hansen gave the sermon. And I was interested. He seemed like a fun guy. And he had a group that he was forming as a way of marketing his book and his program, The 1 Minute Millionaire. And it was for entrepreneurs. He had a workshop after church that Sunday that I attended, and he was really looking for entrepreneurs. I'm an entrepreneur. I thought, yes, that's me. I want to meet people in LA. This seems like fun. So I joined the group. And one of the aspects in this group, we got a lot of training. This was one of the places I learned about business. So grateful for all the training that I have had. And really grateful that Mark Victor Hansen helped get my thinking straight on a lot of things. Two things I learned in his program. One, he gave everybody who was in the program 100 books of The 1 Minute Millionaire. And we committed, our commitment in being a part of the group was that we would give those 100 books away. So they had a strategy that if they gave the thousands of people or whatever, however many people were in our group, all of us 100 books, and we gave our books away, then they could call themselves best-selling authors. Like somehow they equated it that way. I don't remember a lot about that part. I do remember when the 100 books arrived at my house. I'm laughing because I really hadn't thought about what I was going to do with those 100 books, and it took up quite a lot of room in my little house in LA. But I got sparked by a marketing idea. I thought, well, this is some of the things that I'd been learning about marketing. So, my job in marketing is to get my name in front of people or have people remember me or think about me. So, what I did was I wrote up a one sheet. And on this one sheet, I had a little story about myself and I had about my business. But what I did as a coach, I had some testimonials on it. And I also put on it that I was sending along with this flyer the book, The 1 Minute Millionaire. And my reason for doing that, because there were a lot of things in the book that I felt would connect with people that could be my ideal clients. Because it was really about going for your best life and really living life full on. And the millionaire part was there, the money part, but it was a lot about what we coaches care about. And that's what I wrote in this flyer. Anyway, here's a book for you. Here's a little flyer on services I offer. And I'm going to be contacting you to see if you got the book and what you think about it. So I put that in the flyer. That was marketing. And I sent it out to 100 people. So if you think about that marketing effort, I had to know these people's addresses. Mostly I knew them. Some of them were a little distant. There was one person, Eric Utney was his name. And at the time, he had a magazine, the Utney magazine, and it was quite a big deal among a certain crowd. I sent him one of the books, and this is where I enrolled my husband and my business partner, Curtis. It wasn't his favorite thing to do, but in helping me to make sales calls. And he actually called Eric Utney up and got him on the phone. This is a thing. Even today, I know people don't maybe answer their phone like they used to, but there's nothing better than a one-on-one conversation to talk about your services. That's my belief. I'm going to tell you another story that kind of connects with that. I ended up getting some really solid business from that one activity. There was a woman who, so this is part of it when you're thinking about your marketing. This is the marketing piece. You want to think about, again, sometimes we have this thought that's like lots of people way far away, and that's a great place to go. And there is marketing that I help people who get beyond the people you know. But really good marketing can happen just to the people that you know and the people they know, because then it's going to go to the people they know and the people they know. That makes sense. I got really good business from this one marketing activity, and that started me off on a whole trek of learning that if I made my own products, so I started making my own. The next thing I did was write a book, a little book, and I had it printed and I started handing that out. And then there was a deck of cards and I started handing that out. And I still do these things. I have all kinds. I have guidebooks. I have my Evolve Your Coaching Business book. I have two new guidebooks. One is on how to create copy, how to talk about what you do. And I have just a brand new one on group coaching called Essential Group Coaching Leadership, which gives you everything you need to know about group coaching. Because I learned from this one experience that giving people something in their hand to look at, to think about, to read about was a great way to open a conversation and talk about what they cared about and have that sales conversation to tell them what I had to offer. That's sales. Sales is where you are having a conversation with someone about your coaching services. Now, most of this happens one-on-one. When it's even bigger, that those sales, when you're in front of a big room and you are taking a marketing message like a workshop you've done or a presentation, and now you're bringing it to a sales conversation with the people in the audience. I don't know, you might have heard of this guy. His name is Harv Eker. And he had a whole big program on money back in the day. He had a couple of books. I thought he was pretty brilliant, actually. And I went to some of his workshops. I actually got to help be behind the scenes. It was another really great way to network, got me clients. But I remember one of the talents this man had was he would go from the marketing message to the sales message. And he did it in such a way that people would literally run to the back of the room to purchase his programs, which were very expensive programs. I learned, oh, that's a technique. And it's a sales technique. He had a way of being so enrolling in the sales pitch that he had people, a lot of people wanting to buy his product. But even so, I want to put an underline on this. There was still a sales conversation with one person. So you went to the back of the room to get more information to sign up, but there was somebody to talk to. And there was even a next step of you're going to talk to a salesperson now. You've gone from marketing, you've had the sales conversation. So in bigger industries, and if you're coaching businesses at that higher level, if that's where you're aiming, like you want to be somebody who's calling people to the back of the room, there's still salespeople involved. There's still a sales pitch or a sales conversation, that one-on-one conversation with someone. What I learned, so if you think of these three, there's the marketing, there's the sales conversation, there's making the sale, where somebody says, yes, I want what you've got. That's what we're going for. And again, I think this is so totally in integrity. I feel an integrity with it because I buy things all the time. Don't you? I mean, raise your hand if you're a person who purchases things. And I love it. I really appreciate when I've gotten some information about what I'm going to buy, whether it's a piece of clothing or food or whatever, a piece of furniture or a service or product. I like to get information. So I feel like marketing can be really useful. Now, we know that there's marketing that leads us astray, that actually literally people lie about what they have to offer, or they glorify it so much as to feel duped. So I don't like that kind of marketing. I don't approve of it for coaches who want to kind of lead people on. But there is a fine line between showing the positive and not revealing all of the challenges that are going to come with your services. Because that's true. I talk a lot about this at the Coactive Training Institute, how surprised clients can be when they really get into coaching and the transformation is fantastic, but there's work involved. They've got to do some personal growth work. They've got to make some changes, right? Same thing with building a business. I talk about what's possible, what other people have achieved. I know that if this is what you want, you can do it and I can help you, but not everybody is willing to do the work. That's just a fact. So there's the marketing, there's the sales conversation where you're wanting to be honest, but you don't have to overdo it and get down in the weeds about it, right? You want to be honest. Here's what I'm offering. Here's what it can give you. Here's another piece where coaching is so important in the sales conversation and in making sales. It's that piece of we're actually selling people their dream. Think about that for a minute. When you are in a sales conversation, your main focus should be, this is a should, on the person you're talking to and what their dream is, what they want to accomplish, so that your sales pitch is, well, let's look at that dream and see, how good that might feel to have that come true. That's coaching. That's what we do. We help people get in touch with their dreams, with their hopes, with their desires. We help people look at their challenges. So another little booklet I have is called Consultations That Inspire and Sell. And if you'd like it, you can find it on my website. You can drop me an email. I'm happy to send you a copy. I really put a lot of time into that because I wanted it to be in integrity, and I also wanted it to be effective. So it takes your potential clients who you're talking to looking at their dreams, to look at what the challenges might be, because believe me, those challenges are front and center for that person. And you want to address them. You address the challenges. Let's take a look at what might get in the way, or what has been getting in the way, or what do you imagine as you go for this dream that's going to block you from it. Because when a client gets clear on that, I'm going to use the word clear again, it's clear sailing. They get it in a consultation. And I do mine in 30 minutes. In a 30-minute consultation, you can have your potential client connecting with their dream, being very clear on what their challenges are, and then looking to see, are you up for this? Like, what would it take for you to really make this dream a reality? In my consultation, I am very clear. I stated at the beginning what we're going to do is take a look at what you want. I want to be really mindful of looking at your desire. I want to answer any questions that you have about what I have to offer. And then we're going to end this conversation taking a look to see if you want to move forward with me. I find that in integrity to make sure that's clear. You're going to get this is the win-win. You get a value. You'll walk away with clarity about what you want. And I will walk away with having had the opportunity to present to you, here's how I might help you if it's a match. That's a sales conversation. Now, the one other piece I want to put in here before I complete is I've had an awareness over the years of my strengths and my weaknesses. And I want you to have an awareness of that too, because sometimes we compare ourselves to other people. I compared myself to Harv Eker for years. And I have a lot of capability of inspiring people in front of a room. I know that's a strength of mine. I can talk, I can speak, I can talk about people's dreams and have them really enrolled in that. But I also have, what I was thinking today, I have a very humble personality. It's just a part of how I'm wired. Harv Eker was not at all humble. He was a person who could say, what I have is the very best thing ever to hit planet Earth. That's not anything that could be an integrity. Like, that just isn't who I am. So my strengths, what I had to learn is I have a strength in marketing, and here's where it is. It's about writing a message and telling a story. People tell me I bring them the practical steps. I can make it fun. I really am very, very big on that, giving people something that can be applicable, as well as a story to kind of engage the mind. So I have that strength. I know that when I do a presentation or I write an email, I also have a very good invitation to people to make a connection with me, to find out if they want to know more. And what I found over the years, actually, for a period of time, I had a salesperson working for me because I found, I could get people to the place of wanting to know more. And the most effective thing was to set them up with me. And like I said, for a while, I had someone doing the sales for me, which was fun. But what I wasn't good at was the Harv Eker thing where I could get 200 people to come to the back of the room clamoring to spend $10,000, $20,000. It just wasn't my thing. I had to come to have peace with that. Maybe it's your thing. If it is, cool beans. I say go for it. But if it's not, I want you to know that there are other ways that are just as effective, but different. So you want to take a look at what are your strengths. And I'm not talking about having your saboteur or inner critic tell you you're not good at something. This is really, truly looking at what you know to be true about how you show up and what enrolls people and what's engaging about you, stretching yourself. I'm going to encourage you to stretch into that territory and notice if you have a weakness, because we all do. And it really is not very fruitful to be trying to improve your weakness. If you are a fan like I am of the Strength Finders, that whole assessment and the book, there's a lot of good information there about leading with your strengths. I think of Gay Hendricks, also The Big Leap. He talks about your genius zone. I have in my courses a wheelhouse assessment because I believe in this so strongly. So when it comes to making sales, I want you to think about what is your way to do that. Not the saboteur one, but really and truly, how do you most shine? What are the strengths you have that help you to talk about what you are selling to a person who might be interested or who is interested in buying from you, that feel good and like, yes, I can go all the way with that. Like for me, My belief in coaches' ability to create a sustainable business is 100%. If they want to do it, time and money and effort, and I know that I can help them. It takes different amounts of time for different people. Some find they need something else in order to succeed as a coach, and so they go their way. That's fine. Think about this for yourself. So I'm going to recap today's show. We're looking at the distinction: marketing, a sales conversation, making a sale. So after the sales conversation, people usually say, I need a little bit of time to think about it. Sometimes they're ready, and you want to be ready to say, okay, well, here's what's next for you. I'm going to contact you on Friday to finalize this, to see what your choice is. And when they say yes, then you have a process in place, ready to say, well, here's the payment link, here's my calendar. You might have some agreements for them. You want to get them started right away. When people say yes to coaching, they're ready to go. Usually it's a let's go now. So that's another piece I guess I hadn't even thought of before this program. Was after you've made the sale, you want to make sure that you have things in place so people can pay you. That's when a sale is made. And one of the things that Curtis has taught me over the years is how important that sales moment is, not just for you, but for the person who is buying your services. Because when they give you the money, when they pay for your services, that very first payment, they are making a commitment to themselves. And it's often very transformational. They know I am committing to myself. I am saying what I want is worthwhile. And I am paying money to you, coach, or in my case for my program, because I've decided this is the direction I'm going to go in. They're paying for my time and my curriculum and the community I have. I get that. But again, they are actually paying money for their own results that they want, their dream, their desires. They're putting money down. It feels good to them. It feels good to me. We know now this is one of the ways that we begin empowering the coaching relationship, because they have given it. This is the exchange. They're giving money for the results that they want to receive. So marketing message is where you're inspiring people, you're giving them hope, and you're telling them about your services. Sales conversation, now you're funneling it down. You're talking to them about their dream and is it a match for you? And when it is a match, then it's a sale. And now you have a commitment from that person and they have made a commitment to themselves. All right. Well, thank you for joining me one more time on my podcast, Spotlight on Your Coaching Business. I hope you will join me next time as I continue this series. I also want to put a shout out. People ask me a lot about pricing, and it's not an area I'm an expertise, and I have a lot of reasons why, but I've come up with a cheat sheet. So if that's something you're interested in, let me know, because people have been asking me for that, and I'm happy to give that as a handout. Also, as I said, the sales consultations that Inspire and Sell has some of the information that I have given to you today. So it breaks it down, can get you into that sales conversation. All right. Thank you so much for joining me one more time. I'll talk to you next time. Bye.